All right. Good morning, good night, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you're from. But welcome to this random video you somehow stumbled upon. Um, Pretty low effort video actually, and but it is a video that I'm trying to make entertaining using my narration perhaps. So for the first few videos, I plan on using my voice, just using my voice, training myself. Um, Not to sound disciplined or anything, but in a way that I can have that fun and entertaining voice that I have in mind. So actually putting it into real life is, of course, different. There's a cat outside. Cool. But what I wanted to do for this video is, it's more like an audio recording and perhaps even closer to a podcast. Actually, no. But what I wanted to do is just talk about stuff. Talk about stuff. So I asked ChatGPT, and I use ChatGPT and AI quite a lot. So it does sort of understand the kind of stuff that I might like to talk about. And I was just reading, and the third thing it said was talk about why uh, something like, I understood why progress feels fake. And I feel like that's it. That's a great thing to talk about. Just me personally, because it's pretty fucking close to my life. And all the ups and downs that I have in my life. The balance between interest and grinding and making progress, setting your career up, all that stuff. What is really progress to me or to you? You might relate to this. But to me, progress is of two types. One is when I make progress for my exam. I have a pretty important exam coming up in 10 days. I gotta make progress on that. I gotta finish my fucking syllabus, right? Um, but another side of it is I have interest. I fucking love topics. I love topics. I like learning about those. I love how intertwined with history it is. But at the same time, it's two really different definitions of the same thing on the same thing. Like, both is relating to what I'm learning, and one is brute forcing it, strategically consuming and applying it, and two is understanding it, learning it, being intrigued by how it shaped history and everything like that. To me, progress in the first sense, in the sense of grinding and making progress, feels good, but only in the moment. Only in the moment it feels good, I suppose. Because it feels like momentum, it feels like you're making progress. You can see it in action, you can feel in your head that holy shit, I'm thinking in fourth dimensional logic here. Like, that's what it feels like the day before exam, when you at least know one chapter, and then it forgets it just goes away. You forget about it, and you relearn it if you want to. But after repeating it over and over and over again through more than 12 years through the education system, you sort of realize it feels fake. It feels fake, like, holy shit, I'm having this fourth dimensional thinking moment again for the fucking 50th time, and I'm gonna forget everything again. Wait a second, this is something that I like, this is something I'm interested in, but hold on, there's a time constraint, and I have to be strategic about this in a way that being strategic about it almost surely guarantees the fact that I'm gonna forget everything in like 2 weeks, right? It's purely for exams. And people say stuff like, follow your interests. You don't have to be put down by exams. All this physics, chemistry, math stuff that this education system has taken over. You don't have to worry about that. Do you like art? Follow art. But nobody talks about the fact or the scenario where what if it is physics, chemistry, and maths that you like, and the exact same thing you like has been monopolized, I suppose, in this way, and you're forced to study it in that way. That's tough, right? That's a pretty tough to be, a tough place to be. Um, yeah, it's why progress feels fake. Progress feels real when you know you don't have to figure this out today or in a day. You can take your time on it. You know, confusion exists and you're in peace with it more so. Because all look, think about it, all right. Think about all this fourth dimensionally thinking moments you had when you're learning and studying, and you're like, holy shit, I'm actually learning right now and I'm making progress. But those are sparks of energy. It's gonna come down. But what about the smartest people? What about the scientists? What just think about Newton or something. People who learned for their whole lives, right? Were they like this? Did they have this sort of momentary bursts of energy like we do that sort of came down eventually? But they did that for their whole lives. How is that even possible? I feel like that's possible when you're fine with not figuring this out in a day. You're fine with confusion. You know, you don't have to understand this right now. You can take your time on it. I suppose the only problem being society realized that all this genuinely interesting or like all this genuine effort, I suppose, can be turned for profit. But it's not something you can complain about. It's definitely made the world much better than it used to be. You can just go and look at a screen for 8 hours a day and make enough money to support a family. That's not how it used to be. And that's thanks to all those smart people. But is it really thanks to them? Or is it really something we just took? In a sense that, yes, it's the good thing that we took it. It's a great thing that the world is better than it used to be. But we only took what we needed. We left their ideology behind, perhaps. Because the way I think about it, right, the way I've seen with my experience 12 years through the system is that the way you're being to learn, what am I saying? The way you're trained to learn is in spontaneous bursts of energy. Okay, every single time when you're learning, you feel like, holy shit, I'm thinking fourth dimensionally right now. Oh, hold on. Okay, I've been thinking like this for way too long. Let me just take a break. And then you return in a week. I had this period where I took my own time, not for exams at all, right? I knew, I've been studying about electricity and stuff for like more than 4 years, but I've never really had a good idea on what voltages and what current is, like what the fuck is going on. Like we've been told that it's electrons moving and stuff, but like I've never had my core doubts cleared but I still could solve some pretty high level problems. So I took some time, right? I took some time and I learned, and it was a great time. It was a great time. I was able to look through the history, learn some cool names, and the most exciting thing of all, finding out material that shaped it, reading texts written by Newton himself in 1687 or earlier. That is so fucking cool. I myself struggle um, to have genuine curiosity for learning. Like being intrigued by holy shit, electricity is kind of cool. Holy shit, solid state, what the hell? Thermodynamics works like that. Like that's something that I sort of struggled with in having some sort of genuine curiosity on things. But it's gotten really good and gotten really better. But something that I completely enjoyed is learning about Newton, learning about reading the text he wrote himself, reading what his peers talked about him, reading the treatise or something that Maxwell proposed in 1864 or something, reading it directly in his perspective. Reading that stuff, I fucking love it. And hold on, wait a second. Aren't those people genuinely curious about the stuff? Aren't those the people that are genuinely intrigued about stuff? So the thing is, even though I told myself that, wait a second, I'm not too intrigued by how the world works, but I'm very intrigued by the people that are intrigued by how the world works. So, definitely, in a sense, that I am, in fact, intrigued on how the world works, and I just have to figure out this really flawed relationship with studying. The relationship that the system has forced on to everyone, and to contrast it with genuine curiosity for the world is quite difficult. It's really difficult, and it feels like it wasn't designed for that. You know, the education system, at least through primary school, through high school, wasn't designed to produce researchers. It was designed to produce engineers and doctors, perhaps. I mean, it's fine, nothing's wrong with that. But we lost something crucial that led to all this information. The people that was able to think through and arrive at the stuff, what they did was sort of lost. But at the same time, the smart people were not always the best people. They didn't always have the best character. Some were probably downright evil. But the stuff they were good at, they took it to heart. They were quite genuine in it. And it's something that I can respect. At least that part of them. This felt like a way more yappy and just a recording in progress, uh, just a piece of my mind type of video. Not what I came here to do, perhaps. The next video that I might post, I want it to be about automation. I want to be about creating things, making systems. I feel like that's pretty cool. And I've made a few things. And that's been pretty cool. But this video has been more or less about why progress feels fake to me. And yeah, that's about it. That's about as far as my honest thoughts take me. Peace.